Good day everybody, and welcome to this little film clip we've made, just about a few little tips when it comes to handling hawks, feeding hawks, and also we hope to show you fitting equipment. Project Lugger is a great believer in using film as a medium for education.
There are two methods for picking up a hooded falcon where the falcon is treated with respect, understanding and patience. To pick the falcon up from the front, gently lift one of the petty singles of the falcon toward your gloved fist, and once she has one foot comfortably on the fist, slowly raise your fist to encourage her to step up with the other if she doesn't on her own. With repetition, and whilst gently talking to the falcon whilst doing so, you may notice that she picks up on the routine and will step up once she hears you close by or feels you touch her foot. Pick up from the back, with your right hand carefully lift her train out of the way, before gently applying pressure with your gloved fist to the back of the falcon's tarsus. She will then step backward onto your fist. To return a hooded falcon to a block or an alternative perch, once again use your right hand to carefully lift her train out of the way, and gently rest the falcon's tarsus on the perch and slowly lower your fist, and she will step backward onto the block. As always when handling hawks, you must do so with full patience and respect. When removing a falcon's hood, strike the braces gently but confidently and not at any uncomfortable angle. The crucial point is to leave the hood with the braces struck for a few moments before removing the hood. This will deter any moments where the falcon may try to flick off the hood as soon as they feel you handle the braces. As always, confidence, patience and due care and attention will allow you to be successful with hooding. This is the incorrect way to feed a falcon. Whilst it is more comfortable for us to hold a ration of hawk food under our thumb, it is uncomfortable for the hawk to feed. She has to turn awkwardly or duck behind her legs. As you can see, this young lugger is reluctant to feed enthusiastically. Whereas, if we grip the hawk food in front of our thumb, the hawk can bend down and feed comfortably. You'll find her manners and appreciation for you as her falconer become much better as a result of this small change. By tucking your elbow into your side and tilting your wrist ever so slightly upward, the falcon will feed confidently and happily. It's also very important to make sure that you position yourself so any wind doesn't make her uncomfortable, any unpleasant surprises from behind her are unlikely to appear and frighten her, and where you can, that any bright sunlight falls on her meal instead of her back. Falconry furniture should be optimised only for comfort, practicality and security for your hawk, and of course must be fitted correctly. We'll start by making traditional Almeri anklets. First, the correct leather must be selected. With what we have available today, kangaroo hide is the best option. The collagen fibres of kangaroo skin run parallel, making it much stronger than alternatives such as calf. Then before we start cutting the leather, we must make sure we do so in the right direction and from the best part of the hide, otherwise the leather will have too much stretch or too many weaknesses. We select the right size of brass eyelet for the falcon in question and use this to measure the width of the anklet, making sure there is a border of leather around where the eyelet will be. If you have a template or accurate leg measurement, you can simply cut out the anklet you need by drawing around the template or measuring the exact size out, taking into account for the closing of the eyelet and enough room for the anklet to move freely around the tarsus. Or, as we are demonstrating here, you can cut a strip more than long enough and cut it down to size to finish the anklet whilst fitting them. This means you can get the perfect fit and take measurements for a template at the same time. Punch or cut a hole for the eyelet on one end. Then you can round the ends for a neat finished appearance. By cutting a fringe into leather, you prevent any rubbing or discomfort on the falcon's leg. Do this on both sides of the anklet. To cut the traditional jesses, cut 2 strips of leather about half an inch wide and about 9 inches long, cutting one end to a point. Then we fold over the top about 3 times before punching a hole and feeding the pointed end through. To finish, we cut the jess down so they are about 6 to 7 inches long now, and cut a slit just over an inch long on the pointed end, punching a hole at each end of the slit to prevent the leather tearing. These jesses are made to fit a female Lugger Falcon, so of course you would adjust your dimensions for different sized hawks accordingly. The last thing to cut from the leather is the traditional buet, a thin strip of leather about 5 or 6 inches long and wide enough to fit snug inside your bell strap. Punch a small hole just one side of the middle of the strip and a second hole approximately half of the circumference of the tarsus along on the same side. Next to the second hole, cut 2 notches, one either side of the hole, angled away from the hole. Now everything has to be greased, helping to keep the leather flexible and supple. We're using kosher line here. The furniture is brushed with the grease before being wiped over to remove any excess and to ensure everything is coated evenly. Now we're ready to fit the equipment. We carefully restrain the falcon, the use of a hood essential to reduce any stress. We use a towel or casting jacket to avoid any unnecessary discomfort or damage to her plumage and bloom. We also make sure to restrain her wings and legs without forcing her legs together, and we hold her upright or face down so not to reduce her breathing capacity. Before fitting furniture, we fit a tail mount for telemetry. Once the central deck has been carefully separated from the rest of the train with a stiff piece of card, we carefully cut away the feather barbs around where the tail mount will sit. Then with a dab of superglue and with the use of a tail mount pliers, it's secured high up on the tail feather. It's preferable, especially when flying falcons, to use a track pack and tail mount for GPS and radio telemetry transmitters, taking the weight off the legs and avoiding interest from wild hawks who may think the falcon is carrying something worth stealing. Starting with the anklets, we take a quick measurement and cut the leather down to size, punching the second hole ready to go. The anklet must fit snugly but leave just enough room to move freely around the tarsus. Of course, if you already had your anklet cut out to size according to your template, this is a little bit quicker. Ensuring the ID rings and buets are above the anklet, eyelet pliers or a screw tool can be used to clamp the eyelet shut evenly all the way around. Now the buet is fitted. Once the other end of the leather strip has been pulled through far enough, another hole can be punched, and the end that you cut the notches pulled through that again. For extra security, you can do this last step again if you like. Then cut off the ends to suit, making sure that your notches firmly hold the buet in place. Using a traditional buet avoids the use of any potentially harmful cable ties. Now we thread the jesses through so the button sits on the outside of both anklets, making sure the hawk's jesses don't hang in a way that will irritate her. The slits on the jesses are threaded through the swivel. A high quality and suitably sized swivel should be obtained. The pointed end goes through the D shape of the swivel and then over the circular part. Thread the second jess through from the other side so they sit like this and lock for extra strength. Now we just thread the leash through and we're ready. After fitting equipment, we leave the falcon hooded for a short while to settle before unhooding her and giving her a ration on the fist as a thank you, or perhaps as an apology for disturbing her peace to fit new furniture. At Project Lugger, we work to conserve the Lugger Falcon, and as a part of that, we believe in teaching and representing the right standards for Lugger Falcons and for all falconry hawks. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to learn about this fantastic species of falcon, why we should protect them, and the work being done to save the species.